Yo ho ho! Hope everybody's doing good. Carl Bryan coming at you with my man Patrick Bell.
Hello,
Yo, Pat
everyone.
baby, what's happening, man? What's going
Oh,
on
just
there, dude?
grinding away, and getting stuff done.
Grinding away.
Yep.
All right. To tell you what, we got some folks loading in. Hey guys, before we get going, or in fact, you know what? Looks like there might be some folks. Oh, there we go. Now we're getting some action. Holy smokes, you guys all come late. What's going on? Hey, look at these guys, Pat. Holy smokes, dude. Okay, we thought we were going to have a light crew, but that is not going to be the case. So, with that being said, guys, I might just give you guys some ground rules so you can understand what we're doing here in the game plan. Again, we're here. We want to answer as many questions as we can around profit acceleration software. Now, the goal of this call is not so much training, but it is Q&A. So if you guys are going to come to the call, or no, by all means, you can just come and participate. But if you're coming, logically, you come with a locked, loaded, with a question ready to go. Something that you're looking to do. We both have like technical. On Tuesdays, we're going to have William there, who's the programmer. So he'll be there on Tuesdays. You got a technical issue. I think, again, Pat, it makes sense that we do more technical stuff on Tuesday, ideally. But that being said, if you got a question, we're going to do our absolute utmost to give you the best answer we can. It just might be a chance that we have to throw it to Tuesday when William is here. But the bottom line, guys, we're here to ask any questions you have around profit acceleration software. So if you guys could do us a favor, put your question into the box there. No doubt, it should be roughly on your right-hand side. Chuck any questions that you've got into the box. While we're waiting for some questions, I might throw it over to you, Pat. Anything you want to say? And then we'll open up a couple lines to say hello to some folks before the questions come.
Sure, yeah. No, it's been, we had a lot of great questions last time. What we're doing as well, you've got the replay is available. And what is that website?
Yeah.
Let me just go to that and see if I can pull it up quick. It's no results no fee / software. No, it's PAS training, PAS dash call, I think. Let's see if that's it. No, I'll find
Hang on a second.
It's not that one.
Okay. You go try find it. That's cool. Let me open up anything else you want to say here, bud, before we get going? I'm going to open up a couple lines and say hello.
Yeah, just say hi, and I'll go and find this and make sure we get it right.
Okie dokie. Okay, guys, so again, don't have any questions lined up. We need to have some questions. Otherwise, we're going to have a very short call. So line up some questions. And in the meantime, actually, I might just tell you, guys, you want to go check out the Facebook group. Terry Levine, she's been a client of ours for better part of a decade, a bit of a legend in her own right. She has closed, I think I put up there 70 grand using the grant strategy. She then corrected me and said that she's at 90 odd something or other. Might not be a bad idea, guys, to go poke your nose around and have a look at the grant strategy. I'm hoping that we're going to interview her next. We'll be interviewing her at some stage and finding out a little bit more about exactly what she is doing. But at the end of the day, she's following the grant strategy. Going to encourage you guys to check that out and give that some thought. In COVID, everybody's looking for money. So you can imagine the grants program's working pretty well. And in fact, the grants program is like, it's a 10-year-old program. But when COVID hit, we knew that, look, this is going to be top of mind. And so we made some adjustments, reinvigorated it, launched the bad boy again. So if you go into Coach's Marketing Center, you'll see it there, but you'll see it with a red ticket beside it, which basically just it denotes new. So you're going to see that, and I encourage you to jump in there and get after it. Oh, look at that, Dave! I just saw your question. You told me to tell you more. Hang on, Nabil. Nabil, we are coming for you, man. Hang on a sec. You're muted, Nabil. I'm trying to open you up, buddy. You got to unmute yourself. You're self-muted. Okay, but hang on.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there we go. Nabil, how you doing, man?
I'm doing really good, mate. How are you doing? This is from Melbourne, Australia.
Man, I used to live there for close to 15 years. You know that?
I know. You should come back here. It's a beautiful place.
Buddy, tell me about it, man. I should be on Hunt Road right now, enjoying the sunshine. Actually, there wouldn't be any sun right now, man. It's the wrong time of year.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock in the morning and pretty drab, although not as cold as it gets over there.
You legend. All right, man. You had a question there. Hit us with it.
Yeah, I actually was starting to type number 2, which is why I got caught on the hop. But first question is, I love the software. I ended up getting onto the beta testing because I used it successfully getting a client across the line. And I love it, but it takes a long time to go through it. So I'm just racking my brain and trying to think, are there any hacks in terms of going through it in a very fast, accelerated way, with whether it's with prospects or even new clients? Because I'll give you the scenario that I had. I got really excited about the software, and I was very close to signing up a new client, and I said to them, look, you come on board, I'll take you through this process, and what I'll do is I'll actually get you go through this. And we did that, and we identified probably $150,000-$200,000 worth of extra revenue and profits, and that was basically what sealed the deal. So that was really good. But when I actually did that whole process, it took 3.5 hours, and that was even after I copied the questions out of the software, sent it to them as a questionnaire, because what's difficult is to stop discussion on the questions. So it's not like a fire the question and get the answer, fire the question and get the answer, fire the question and get the answer. There's a bit of discussion and debate around that and explaining. So I'm unless you're a high D, which I know Adrian is, and that, how do you actually fast track going through that, or maybe just cut through and cover only a couple or 3 or 4 or 5 of the sections rather than the whole lot?
Yep. I'll give you my answer, then actually, Pat, you go first, bud.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say, great question. Are there any hacks in terms of going through it in a very fast and accelerated way? So yes, if you are in the jumpstart, the profit jumpstart, your goal is to close a client. You've got maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour.
Yep.
What I'd normally do is you start with conversation.
Yep.
You see where you think the possibilities might be.
Yep.
And you jump directly into those sections. So maybe it's their market dominating position.
Yep.
You find the breakthrough in market dominating position. Then that might take you, got some conversation around it. It might take you 10 minutes actually. Like the questions only take you a minute to ask, but with the conversation, you're realistically looking at 10 minutes. So you do market dominating position, and then through conversation, you think, just as you're listening to them talk, you might think, oh, you know what? Digital marketing might be something. So then you say, hey, Joe, let's look at your digital marketing. Tell me about your digital marketing strategy. And you jump in there and you go through that. And again, it might be 5 or 10 minutes. Then you do one more, find 3. If you've done 3 and you found some impact in the revenue, then you can stop and you say, look, we've just gone through 3 areas. We found you $509,000. Imagine what we could do in a full assessment. That's the short answer to the profit jumpstart. When you're in a full assessment and you're doing, I'm a high D as well. Like, let's just get this thing done. And that is, that's a 4 to 5 hour conversation. If you're a low D and you're a high I and you want to just shoot the breeze and you go down just different rabbit trails, you could be looking at, it could go 20, 30 hours easily. So I'm not joking. Like some people just like, hey, in our sessions,
Yeah.
looking at alliances and joint. It's like, okay,
I
well,
think
this
the
is
message.
45 minutes because you're.
Yeah. Sorry, I think the message I'm hearing quite strongly is you go back and revert back to the Pareto principle. You know, the 80-20 rule. You know, you don't have to go through every little nook and cranny, every little tiny bit to actually demonstrate the value of it. And certainly in terms of grounding and basing a coaching program on, if we find something that's going to deliver X dollars, say 150 grand. Then that's going to be enough, really, to make a start on, and then it can be refined as we go along.
Yeah,
correct. Yep.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I'd agree. I'd actually,
Excellent.
Nabil, if I just wanted to add there too. Here's a couple little tips that I would encourage you to think about. First of all, Pat keeps talking about everybody. You got to get to know your software. You've got to go in there. Don't just go and go straight into a client, basically practice on your own for roughly 10 hours to get going. So that's a kind of lay down, right? Kind of get a feel for it. But here it is. No matter what I'm doing, I want to find like you're skiing, you're at the top of the hill and there's that map and you've got the red arrow. It says what? You are here. You got to find, the quicker you can find that you are here with your prospective coaching client, the easier this process is going to be. Like an example of that. Well, first of all, questions. Why did you start your business? When did you start your business? Just really quick rapport building, kind of get the ball rolling. And then this question right here. You don't have to be necessarily first, but you want it to be early. What are the biggest challenges you currently face? Right. And then you zip it. And then they're going to give you the answer. And then that's going to give you the spidey senses to know probably where you're going to go and, quite frankly, how you're going to sell them. So back in the day when I would sit with people and run through run through my process, it was basically just, why did you start your business? When did you start your business? The third question I asked every time, what are the three biggest challenges / obstacles you'd face? I'd sit there for the entire time, ask about 100, just rip through questions super fast. And then at the end, the way that I would close them would be exactly what they told me in the first 5 minutes, which was, what are your biggest challenges / obstacles, right? So no matter where you go, that's kind of, and just another example, right? So somebody's starting a business. What they always say is this a good idea? Do you think this idea will work? Idea. It's a stupid way to start a business. What you've got to do is you look for problems and then you deliver solutions, and there's your business, right? Why am I going through that? It's the same thing. When I say to you, what are your three biggest challenges / obstacles? You're literally laying on a platter exactly what your challenges are. And by the way, not only am I listening to your words, though, I'm listening to inflection and the level of, just because one comes first doesn't mean it's the most, the one that they're most passionate about and the major issue. They just might not have thought of it straight away. So you're looking for that. Bottom line, little red arrow, you are here. The better you can get at that and the quicker you can do it, the easier it is to sell coaching. So I think that's just relevant for when you're looking at those, when you're looking at the, what do you call it? The categories that you're going to rip through. Using that little process might be handy, I think.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. That really is. Yeah. The thing I mentioned, and if I can just follow on with another side question, and that is what I did, because these guys run a digital marketing agency, and they're quite high C in terms of the detail, the technicians in the business. So what I did was I took the questions out of the previous version of the software and just made it into a Word document, and I asked them to complete that, and that actually was very beneficial. So is that a good idea? Just a general rule. I mean, you wouldn't send that to a high D, because sending them a document like that would floor them. But is that useful to do? I found it useful in this, but this is an N of 1, like it's a single example. And so that worked really well in this particular instance. Thoughts on that?
Yeah. Pat, I'll let you go first, bud.
Go ahead.
Oh, so okay, this is where, the roadmap, you want to be a little bit careful with that, where, like you said, you kind of overwhelm them while you've got them there in the intensity of the moment. this is where you get coaching deals done, right? So to say, look, let me print you off the roadmap and have a bit of a look at it to do. It's more, look, do you want to rock and roll? Do you want to do this? I'm going to come back with the roadmap and we're going to go through it. We're going to put together a step-by-step roadmap. We're going to go further in depth in the assessment so that we can find some more breakthroughs and make sure that we've got the right priorities at the top of the list. So you kind of see, so I would definitely be careful with letting the document do too much of the work for you. The intensity of the moment is where you get a coaching deal done, is the basic answer.
So what you're saying is, so what I'm hearing you say is, use it with caution, number one. Number two is, it can be useful once you've got the client in terms of gathering data that could be useful. But in this actual sale, and I didn't actually use it in the sale. I didn't actually use it in the presentation. It was more after actually getting the money in their bank account and the client across the line.
So yes, let me just give you a 1, 2, 3 of exactly what I would do. Number one, I sit down with you. I'm going to find you $100,000 in 45 minutes without spending $1 on marketing or advertising. And by the way, I would also book a 90-minute appointment versus a 45-minute appointment because I want time for Q&A and I definitely want time to close. Right? That's just and not everybody is ready for the meeting when I get in there, right? So I got to wait a little bit to do. So I would book them 90 minutes, but I'm going to find them $100,000 in 45 minutes. I would go through the process. Again, let's say you're going to go through 4 of the 11 categories, which will very soon be 12, but you're going to go through 4 of the categories that you're going to choose. And then at the end of it, I'm going to show you my screen, or I'm going to do a screen share and say, Nabil, I just found you $182,000 and we only went through 4 areas and you kept saying 20% and I kept bringing it back to 5, right? So that's where we got. So here's what we're going to do. At this stage, do one of 2 things, man. I can just, print the bad boy off, send it to you, wish you luck. Or, look, nothing here we went by is rocket science. What I'll do is I'm going to print this bad boy off. Let's get back together. Give me 4 days to correlate everything. Let's do it on, it's Monday, so let's wait until Friday. Let's get back together. And I'm going to report all of my findings. We're going to put together a little bit of an implementation list to get this thing started. And I'm going to present you with the plan. If you want to move forward, you want my guidance, look, I'm $2,000 a month. What I'm willing to do, because we're all locked in our houses for 90 days, so I'm willing to do this. Month 1 is going to be 500. Month 2 is going to be 1,000. Month 3 is going to be 1,500. Month 4 is going to be 1,497 moving forward. So if you want to rock and roll, now's your time. I'm a busy dude. I got lots of things going on. If you want my assistance, that's what I'm willing to do. Do you want to do this with me? And then the guy, and it's going to be a little bit of to and fro, and then boom. So what I just said, the difference between what I said and what you said is that I'm going through the process and then I'm coming back and I'm delivering my findings 1-to-1, but we've already got an agreement to move forward where I'm going to help you implement, because left to your own devices, we have found that folks, people don't do it. This is why you need accountability. And that's why Michael Jordan had a coach and LeBron James had a coach and Wayne Gretzky had a coach and Tom Brady has a coach, and you should have a coach. So a little bit, but that's the way I would do it. And if they say no, you print it off and you email it to them, and it's okay. Good luck to you. But we know that they're not going to implement it. They're not going to have, because if you read the document, this is where Pat, Adrian, and I spent. You've got no idea the amount of time that we spent putting together the profit acceleration summary for this exact reason, so that when they do get it, it's going to assist you in closing them. But the reality is it's not going to do the closing for them. The intensity of the moment is going to get the closing done for you. So I hope that helps. Pat, would you say anything to that, bud?
Yeah, I would say, I'm just going to affirm that and say that the meeting that you have with the client is where the magic happens. And that's probably 90% of it. The document is probably 10% of it. Compared to the meeting and the breakthroughs you find in person, the document is very minimal in its ability to close, and certainly not the roadmap. So I would avoid as much as possible just sending someone a document, and I actually wouldn't even give them that option. I would position the document as something that you have to go away and prepare, and it's going to take a lot of time, and it's going to take you a couple days, maybe 2 or 3 days to prepare this document. It's just not something that, like, they won't respect it if you just print it off and give it to them, I don't think.
No.
I would, just make sure that they think it's a lot of effort, and maybe if you do that, maybe you have a higher chance of closing them.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Can I just follow on? I don't mean to hog the conversation,
okay.
but
Go. You're good.
Yeah, this relates to the report, but not necessarily, because I love the report in its focus on getting a prospect across the line, and I love the use of it as it's not the main game, it's not the main thing, it's how you convey that and how you talk them through that. But having said that, is there any way, if I enter a lot of detail into the software around the answers to the questions, when you press the button on the reports, you don't actually get all of that detail being spat out?
Yep.
Correct?
Yes, and I'm sure you know the reason for that. And this is where, again, if you look at your report, the summary, you are going to see that, you know what I mean? You're going to see that there's a lot of magic there, but no real how to do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's,
but it's not even the answers to the questions. Like, for example, if they identified or you just captured a piece of data, for example, is there any way that we can get that? Is that maybe an enhancement that is a coach's tool, not something that you would give a client ever, but a coach's tool?
Yeah. Let me answer that. Yes, and it's been ordered, and it should be done in a week, so that when you go to reports, and you're going to open up one of these reports and download it, it's going to appear as appendix at the end of the report.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so that's a week away. That is actually very top of the list for William. He's working on it probably tomorrow, starting tomorrow. So coming soon.
Pat, I've got to tip my hat off to you guys. You, and I'm talking about you generally. This is magic. This is absolutely magic. You guys have done such a great job. It's phenomenal. Hats off to you guys.
Thank you.
High five, man. Appreciate it, buddy. Any more questions, Nabil? Are you good?
No, I've used up more than my time.
No, you're good. No, that's cool. No, you know what? I've literally got people right in here saying this is very helpful. So there you go. No, great job, Nabil. Appreciate you, man.
Excellent.
Put you back on mute. Our buddy who do we got? Richard. Richard's got something to say here. He's got his hand up. Yo, Richard, you got your hand up. What's happening, man?
Hey, how you doing? Great.
Fabulous.
Great call. So I wanted to discuss again, because there's a couple different opinions. I'll give mine to more directly interact about it with the reports. My bias is like you're saying, to do the short impact report, given their because I routinely ask, well, what are the issues you're having, and I want to be relevant then, and I'll focus, just like you're saying, on that. But if they I haven't done a good job, or if they're wishy-washy, it's like, and they don't want to proceed. It's kind of like, going to a car lot and fall in love with a car and then saying, well, think about it. It's a way of saying, no, I don't want to do it, or I don't want to commit to it. So at least at this point, and I've only done 3 of them this week, and obviously I need to upskill myself on the presentation, but I've not sent the report because I think it's given away intellectual property, essentially.
Yep.
And if they could do it themselves, they would have already done it. And I'm holding that out as a as a prize, and if you want to engage, and we can go forward. If not, good luck to you. We've had a good 45 minutes, where the money is in your business. And if you can do that yourself, that's awesome. Good luck to you.
Go for it. Yep. Pat, what would you say, bud?
Harsh.
Or what
it seems a little harsh. Yeah.
Oh, I agree.
It seems what?
You're right on.
Okay.
Sorry, what did you say there at the end, Richard? It seems what?
Oh, it seems, it feels a little harsh, but the point is I'm not a
Oh, I see.
charity. And if
Yep.
somebody isn't invested in doing this, then they're not a good client anyhow, period.
Yep. Yep, this is true. Pat, anything to say there, man? I got a couple comments, but over to you first, bud.
No, I think for a lot of people, I think that would be the right scenario and the right approach. I think you just need to find out what's comfortable for you. But man, if Richard is getting results and you kind of work with someone that's getting results, just copy what they're doing. Go and try it. And if it doesn't work, try something different. If it works, keep doing it.
Okay.
So here's what but again, I just come from a pure sales and marketing background. So let me explain why I positioned it the way I positioned it. So I'm sitting with you and I'm like, okay, Richard, like we've just gone through, and you got to understand the intensity of the moment is something you can't duplicate. And believe me, if I've done my job properly, which is really easy, I ask questions and I position myself with authority. Believe me, they are not hoping that I leave. Like, that's for sure. Okay. So the way that I position at the end is, look, Richard, here's your options, bud. If you want, I've gone through, I've collated, some data and whatnot. I can get my software to pump it off and I can send it through and I'll email it through to you later this week when I put it all together, and I can wish you luck. But the reality is, this is no rocket science, and nothing that we've touched is overly complicated. Just the problem is you're not doing it. And why aren't you doing it? Because you don't have the accountability. You don't have, and then it's all the stuff that we just talked about, right? I'm rehashing some of the stuff we've gone through. And I just say, so if you want to work with me, this is the way it looks. I'm $19.97 a month because we've been locked in our houses for the last 90 days. I'm going to give you a break on that. What I am going to do is I'm going to allow you to jump in, for whatever whatever you feel comfortable. That's not necessary, by the way, but remember, I just want to get the deal done, right? I'm right there at the intensity of the moment. I am there to sell. And like, just back in the day, if you guys ever heard some of my old interviews and whatnot, like my old coaches would talk about how I grew roots in the chair. Okay. We did all this face to face, right? Well, I wouldn't leave until they said yes. I literally would not leave because they didn't invite me there by, and I'd have a coach with me and whatnot, but like, they didn't invite us there by accident, right? Okay. They're looking for some direction. And remember, marriages break up from lack of money, significantly more than lack of love. Separation, divorces, depression, ultimately suicide happens at an inordinate number, percentage wise for entrepreneurs. So I'm just not leaving until he allows me to help him. And if he doesn't, and if he allows us to help him and I don't follow through and we don't do a great job, we can always give the money back. But anyways, two things I went over there. The positioning of Richard, I'll just email it through to you, man. I really don't, I'm not too worried about it, right? Good luck to you. I got a line of 15 people waiting to speak to me next week. So I'm not really too concerned about whether or not you say yes or no. It's just a matter of whether or not you're going to take up one of my slots, because I'm not going to have a problem filling them. That's an understatement, right? Sure. And by the way, I had an added advantage where you would always have seen me on stage. So I would have a room of, X people, 10 to 25, whatever the number was, people. So I just say, look, I'll just sign up the other guys, but I want to work with you for this reason. So number one, it's very strong positioning that, look, I'll just email it through to you and don't worry about it. It's all good. I'm not looking for things to do here. But if you want to work with me, and that makes my close stronger, is what I'm trying to bring across. So, worrying about the intellectual property, I wouldn't worry too much about that. At the end of the day, you just print it off and give it to them. But it'll help you increase your conversions. So I hope that's helpful, but I think that's
well, thank you for that coaching. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
cool, no problem. Good job getting those appointments, man. Keep doing it.
Oh, it'll get better.
Yep, it will, man. Okay, I'm going to put you back on mute. Good job. And Michelle Purvis, you have your hand up. Yo, Michelle, you're live.
Good morning. How are you?
Fabulous. How's it going?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. I just had a question around the valuation in the software. Firstly, how the numbers arrived at, and whether there's any potential to put any multiplier in there?
I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Pat, do you get that?
Yeah, so let me just go there. And we're talking about how numbers are arrived at in valuation.
Yeah.
So we had to come up, and let me just explain. let me explain that this whole tool is a sales tool. Again, that's the note to the coach. This is not something that you ever encourage a client to take to the bank, because unless you're a business broker, we're not qualified to give a valuation. So we want to find something that's indicative of the impact that we'll have on valuation. So what we've done is we've got 10 questions only. We wanted to keep it simple because we don't want to delay finding the breakthroughs. And each question is either going to add to the valuation of the business, or it's going to take it away. And I forget the formula behind this, but there was something to do with the revenue of the business, which is inserted in number 10 as a default, but you can change that. It has to do with the profitability of the business in terms of net profit and gross profit margin. And then there's X factors multiplied through these other 9 questions. So question number 1, has your revenue been steady or growing or declining? If it's growing by 10% a year, then you put 110, and that's going to be basically a 10% impact, positive impact on the business. Same way if you said this business was shrinking by 10% a year, you put in a 90, which is going to negatively impact the value. We also have a factor in here where we build in the value of the inventory and assets. Now, each of these have an X factor through them that I have to go back and find those files, but we're using this as a sales tool primarily.
I get that, and I guess where I'm coming from is that looking at a valuation, when a business owner sees what their business is worth now versus what it could potentially be worth, is a good sales tool. So I mean, my background is accounting, so I just wanted to get my head around how the numbers actually arrived at, so I can talk into it and maybe just play around with those the variables in there and what impact they make, to show them how their business could potentially be worth 2 to 3 times if they implement, because people think that their business is worth a lot more than what it is. And that's just where I'm coming from there.
Okay, yeah. Well, you can just remind people, and you'll know this, that I forget what the percentages are, but we have to do some research on this, but this is crazy low percentage of people who actually get what they think is their business is worth when they're selling their business.
Yeah.
And if they can sell it at all, they're usually going to get whatever the percentage was, 50% or 30% of what they think the value is worth.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but we just use this as a sales tool. And one thing you could do is form a joint venture with a business broker and get a proper valuation on the business if they're interested in going that direction.
Sure. Okay, thanks.
Cool. Awesome. No problem, Michelle. Okay, we're going to put you back on mute. Excellent question. And by the way, and I think everybody understands, but in case you weren't on last week, but understanding is, like Pat's saying, profit jumpstart. This is the part that is designed to get the deal done. Okay, this is where you find $100,000 in 45 minutes. Now, when you go to the breakthrough 40. Going to go to one of those for me. You go to the breakthrough 40, and then of course you're going to notice that the different the color is going to change here in a second. You'll see it. But so again, there you go. So this is more. See, it says breakthrough 40 across there. This is where you're doing the consulting and you're really digging deep and you're really lifting up rocks to find out where the money is. Yeah, there you go. 40 on the left-hand side there, guys. See that? 40 sections. Anyways, Michelle, so just so that you got that. So the jump start, I want to make out like the whole thing is a sales tool, because that's not the case. It's the front end is the profit jump start is designed to get the deal done and rock and roll. So there we go, guys. We could use a few more questions. Who else has got one? Tony, I think you have your hand up. Tony Sharp. Oh, Tony, you are self-muted, buddy. If you want to chat to us, there you go. Yo, Tony.
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for thanks for inspiration. Real quick, is there any pre-recorded calls we can listen to on Terry before we wait till next week?
Oh, okay. You know what? Pat, I'm not sure if you know, wasn't there a call where we went over the grant program just recently, Pat, when we relaunched it?
Yeah, let me see. That was on Ask the Expert call.
Oh, perfect. I'll go back and check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, if you just scoot through yeah, it's Thursday. But yeah, this Tony, look, if you go, and you know what, if you email Adrian, he'll be able to tell you exactly where it is.
Good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, no problems, man. Awesome. Is that all? Any other questions?
That's it for right now. Thanks.
Okay, put you back on mute. Good job. Okay, guys, we're doing well here. Martha, I think, has a question. Yo, Martha, we're coming for you. Hey, Martha.
I'm good.
Yo ho ho, Martha, what's happening? Oh, Martha, did you just mute yourself? Oh, maybe she's. Did you mute her, Pat, or was that? Did she mute herself?
Not me. She's self-muted. Oh, there she is.
There we go. Oh, Martha, you're back.
I'm sorry.
What's happening?
Yeah, hi.
That's okay.
Hi, guys. No, I actually don't have a question, but I am concerned, not concerned, but I am also curious about the grants program and that works for the benefit of our clients.
Which,
Yeah,
the grant?
Yeah.
Which program?
Grants. What you just spoke about. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
most definitely. Yeah. Oh, you go, Pat. Go, Pat.
You can find that recording on April 22nd of Ask the Expert, right on my screen there. You can talk about that. Yeah, if you need to know something more, you can bring it to the Ask the Expert call on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
Or email support. Yeah.
I got it. And while I've got you on, you are doing a fantastic job. I am just overwhelmed by what you've been able to do with this software program, honestly. And William, by the way, is an awesome guy as well. He's very available, and he responds back. He's responsive, and he's just fantastic. So you guys made a great decision to get him on.
I agree. I worked with William 12 years ago when I lived in Kenya. I brought him in to develop a website for me, and always been impressed with him. So we've had that connection for years, and then when we wanted to do software, we reached back to him, and lo and behold, he could do all this crazy programming too. I didn't know
it. Well, there's a gem, isn't there? Yeah. Well, thank you so much, you guys. Appreciate it.
No. Awesome, Martha. We appreciate the kudos, most definitely. You legend. Okay, we're going to put you back on mute. All right, guys, anybody else have a question? And if you don't, forever hold your peace, and that's fine. And we're going to get out of here early. But if you do have a question, actually, if somebody could do me a favor, what was that, April 22nd or April 20th? The Ask the Expert call, guys. If somebody could go and post that, there's a bunch of, I know there's some chatter right now about the grants and Terry and whatnot. We'll get her interviewed for sure. But if somebody could just go put April 22nd, Ask the Expert call is where we talked about the grant. That would be super duper appreciated, because I know there's some people there right now anxious to hear more. So guys, anybody else has a question before we go? You know what? I'm going to open up my boy Lee. We have nobody to talk to, so we're going to open up Lee here. When you win a Super Bowl, we crush all over you, Lee. I'm sorry. You got to unmute yourself though, Lee, so I can talk about your Super Bowl, or maybe it's a deal. There he is, Lee. What's going on, man?
What's going on? How you doing?
Not much, dude. Not much. What's happening with my Super Bowl champion?
I'm plugging away. It's so funny because I started a group today with 10 guys in the group, and they're from all over. And and I just talked to them about little things, and just talking to them about little things, they were so interested in just finding out more. And so we started a focus group. And we started this focus group, and then they were like, after we learn this and we go through the process, can we start a focus group also with the guys that we know? And then they all wanted to start a focus group, and I was like, oh my God, this can grow tremendously. So
I love it. So tell me, give the folks, what were some of those like small things that you were talking about that seem to have big impacts on those listening?
Well, basically what I told them, I said, with the way that the coronavirus has hit, and changing the market for everybody, where do you think you want to be in the next couple years? How will you prepare being prepared for it? Well, let me show you some things that you haven't done and that people haven't told you. These are the secrets that people keep from you that will help you grow your business. And then I went into just showing them one thing, and I basically told them to write it down. I said, write this down. Take 1,000 people, take 25% of those people. Now, let's say that you touch those people 5 times out of the year. I didn't say 5 times in 1 month. I said 5 times out of the year. Now take that and I went through the calculate, I went through the whole calculation, and they were like, what? Yeah. I said, yeah, that's what you're leaving on the table. That's what you're not. That's when you say your family's struggling and you have this business and you're working. Now add your salary on top of that and tell me where you are. And they were like, oh my God, I got to hear more. And so I do it with excitement. I don't do it as I'm teaching. I do it like I'm excited for them to actually feel what I'm feeling for them. Because the biggest thing I teach on is being able to enjoy somebody else's success and knowing that you're helping them. And I do it with excitement, and they get excited about what they're hearing.
Yeah. And what you're talking, when you're talking about the 5, you mean the leads, conversions, transactions, pricing, profits? Is that what you mean from the calculator?
Yes, exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
So you may or may not, so you're using a visual as well, right? Like you're not just describing this, you're showing them, correct?
Yes, I'm actually showing them.
I just want to make sure everybody hears that. Believe me, if you would have done the exact same thing without the visual, you wouldn't have had, I'm sure you would have got an impact, but you wouldn't have got half the impact. Because the visual, again, picture's worth 1,000 words, they say. So yeah, that's cool, man. I love it. High five, buddy. High five. I got Pat. So Pat was a running back, Lee, and you were a linebacker. So maybe we might get you guys to put on some football equipment, and I'm going to bet on you, Lee. But Pat, we're going to throw you in, man, and you're going to be able to save it. Oh, here we go. Watch this. Oh, you got to pull up the shirtless photo. So everybody listening, I'm talking to Lee, I'm just meeting him, and I'm like, oh, yeah, cool. Holy smokes, yeah, I've heard of you, man. So I look him up on the internet, and the picture comes up with there it is. See, the first one, man. No, not that one. No, that one. That one's too boring, man. Go to the one on the left, Pat. What's that? Okay, do the one. Hang on, Pat.
He's talking about the one at the first one. The first one. I seen it.
Man. That's the one. That's why I'm like, holy shit, man. I'm like, are you single? Let's date, man. Holy smokes. Guys, your boob's the size of my head, man. Holy cow. Anyway, so there you go. So I'm like, Lee, I got to tell you, man, I just met you, but I'm looking at a topless picture of you. Oh, my God. I'm like, put your shirt back on, dude. Oh, weird me out. There you go. Anyways, Lee, appreciate you, man. You're a legend. So Pat, you heard what just happened, right? Are you in?
I'm going to bet on Lee as well.
Okay, that's all right. Maybe I'll come in. I'll get on your back and we'll maybe try it. I don't know. If that's probably the most horrific football mood of all time. But come on your back. Maybe that's what we'll try, Pat. One way or another, man. We're getting Lee to the ground. I don't know how we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Our live event. Sound good?
That would be fun.
Let's go for it.
All right, Lee. Appreciate you, man. I'm going to put you back on mute. Good job. All right. And I'm going to just flow through these questions. Guys, I think we got it nailed, answered. Nobody else has got any questions. I hope that was helpful. But again, what we're going to encourage you to do, guys, you got it like Richard said earlier, right? He's doing these strategy sessions. He's meeting with folks and finding the $100,000 in 45 minutes. I'm telling you, that is the secret sauce. If you want to know the KPI, you got a business coach that made $50,000 and then you show you a business coach that made $500,000. The difference between the two is going to be the number of sessions that they did with business owners, as in the find $100,000 in 45 minutes. That is the X factor. So make sure you get out there. Again, you got to let yourself be known. And, that might involve cold calling. That might involve reaching out to a warm network. That might involve forming a joint venture with an accountant, the business broker, the networking organization, the advertising company. what have you. Get in front of as many business owners as you can and go through this process, both because you're going to get clients, but as Pat continues to preach, and no doubt he's going to continue to preach to all of us over the next, coming months as we're doing this, you've got to really get to know your software. So the more that you go through that process, the more comfortable you're going to get with it, the more you're going to be able to pull out your magic. And when it comes time to close, there's going to be magic pouring out of your mouth instead of words. And that's literally what happens. So,
Right.
So there you go. So Pat, baby, I think we're done, bud. Anybody's got one last question? Any parting words for us, buddy?
No, just, maybe I'll just say, if you have support tickets, come into the software and click on support. If it's technical, under type, click technical, it goes straight to William. If it's non-technical, it comes to me. If you can't even get into the software, then you're going to email pas@noresults-nofee.com, and that'll come to me, and I usually tackle those emails twice a day.
Awesome. Cool. Great job, buddy. As always, appreciate you. Appreciate everybody coming. Appreciate you coming with some questions. And we're doing this every Tuesday and Thursday, so make sure you get in there. Come with us, come armed with some questions so this thing rolls. So there you go. Thanks so much, folks. Thanks, Pat.
All right,
Catch you later, folks.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.